What up, guys? My name is Jewanne, and today we're going to talk about if you should get the Kurt Cobain Fender Jagstang. This guitar is pretty interesting, man. I never had a Jagstang before. I had a friend in Kansas that had the original 96 models, and I think they re-released it in 2004, 2002, 2004, somewhere in the early 2000s. But they just released these, made in Mexico. The original Jagstangs were made in Japan, but now we got the newer models. As you can see, made in Mexico. This is a pretty interesting guitar, dude. It's probably not one of my favorite ones, but it is one of the most interesting ones I do have. I want to talk about a little bit about this guitar, and then we can get to playing. It has all the vintage specs of a Japanese Mustang, a 7 1/4 radius, vintage frets, vintage Kluson, 6 in line tuners, the Mustang bridge, Mustang tremolo plate, the Mustang control plate as well. These are actually set screw knobs. These knobs have set screws in the back for you to adjust, and you do have to have an Allen wrench to adjust these. As opposed to the original Japanese ones, they are push-ons. CTS pots, low profile switches. This guitar, I say, is definitely a good quality guitar. Has quality parts into it. I changed the normal strap buttons to a strap lock. What the Jagstang is a half Jaguar, half Mustang. It was designed by Kurt Cobain originally, and there was only maybe one prototype in Sonic Blue. I think he played it. He played it a couple times during the show. I think there was one show he played it half the show and then switched to his Jagstang. This guitar sounds good. Probably a few things I would want to change on it. Probably the bridge pickup and the neck pickup. There is some fret sprouting, so the frets do pop up a little bit. I don't know if you can see that, but this one right here is kind of very noticeable. I did shim this a little bit with a piece of paper. Right now I have D'Addario strings, 10 to 52s. Overall, I mean, this is a great guitar. When you do get it, there might be some grounding issues. So I did put some copper tape behind the pick guard, in the cavities, a little bit on the trim plate and a little bit on the control plate, and have it all connected at once. It does sound a lot better now that I put the tape on. The neck is very low profile. It reminds me of my Japanese Mustangs. Overall, this is a pretty nice guitar. Let's just play some songs with it. play some cleans on this. See what this sounds like with some cleans. Alright, we're gonna try the neck pickup. Alright, so the switching on these is kind of similar to Mustang. So this is on, off, on, and then on, off, on. So if you go the same direction, they'll both engage it. And if you make them go opposite ways, they have like this kind of weird sound. Kind of like that honky tonk sound, you know? You know, this is just a bridge pickup by itself. The neck pickup by itself. Both of them on. And then both of them out of phase. This guitar has a lot of interesting features if you never played one of these. Because these guitars are fucking kick ass, dude. Plays very similar to my Mustang. The only thing I really don't like about this guitar that it is made in Mexico. I've always had issues with made in Mexico guitars with the frets, especially the frets. They're always inconsistent. It's kind of sharp up here. And so, you know, just some of the frets have gone up, so what you want to do is just might take it to a luthier, let him hammer it in, and then get the neck flat again, and then get it all straightened out, and it should play better. Let's play some rock tones with it. I think it does get a little bit out of tune sometimes, maybe because the strings are not stretched out fully. Or maybe there's something wrong with this bone nut. Only because this nut's a way different material than what it is on my Mustangs. Definitely the nut could be a better upgrade. I totally recommend Graphtec, or if you can find a bone nut that's 7 1/4, definitely a better choice. I also do have the bridge locked in. I don't know if you can see those it's kind of locked. It's locked in, so I can't really do any tremolo stuff. Do I recommend the Kurt Cobain Jag-Stang? I only recommend this if you're wanting a fun, quirky guitar, if you're a small guy. This guitar feels really tiny to me. I remember playing the original models, and I thought it was like small. I thought it was too small. I only recommend this if you're a Nirvana fan. If you're a Nirvana fan and you're wanting these guitars, I'd say wait. I'd say wait till the price drops or they do go on sale, because sometimes they do go on sale for like $700 brand new. $750, $770 on the Fender website. For it being a made in Mexico guitar, I really don't recommend it at the price point. It'll never compete with a Japanese made guitar. I've owned 3 Japanese guitars and they always come out superior. They always come out superior. I took the chance on getting it for $400, and it's not my favorite guitar. If you play hard enough and you play long enough, eventually the bridge will sink in. So I do recommend getting blue Loctite to just a little dab of it, just so the thread locks in. This guitar is pretty interesting. I like it. It doesn't weigh that much, but it's not light either. Got this for $400 new, basically, from a drummer who doesn't even play guitar. He just says, I don't play guitar. And I saw it for $700, and I told him $400 and I'll take it. And he said, all right, it's yours. Come pick it up. So, I kind of got a steal. I kind of got a steal for a made in Mexico guitar. And, for the Jagstang, it's one of the guitars that you don't very see often. And this is probably, this was my dream, another dream guitar that I wanted. I wanted the Japanese ones, but this is as close as I can get to my price point threshold. I don't ever pay more than $500 for a Fender guitar, especially if it's used, because it's just, it's so hard to even get a Fender guitar for less than $500. Well, especially if it's rare. If it's rare, it's kind of hard to get it by for less than $500. If this was a Japanese Jagstang and they were selling it brand new for like $1,000, then maybe, yeah, it's definitely kind of worth it, because the Japanese quality is definitely way different than the made in Mexico ones. So I just totally recommend waiting till getting it at $700, or getting it, secondhand from somebody. But I just don't recommend buying it brand new, because made in Mexico guitars are not up to standard. the quality isn't up there as good as Japanese guitars. They don't make a lot of Japanese Fenders, so I just say I totally recommend just waiting on it. I don't recommend this at $1,000 price point. I don't recommend this at $1,000 price point. But yeah, this is my review of the Jagstang. Should you get it? If you're a Nirvana fan. Should you really get it? No. Not for $1,000 made in Mexico.